This is Richard Turnock with Systems Academy, and this is part 1, basic equation. So I'm going to be using Stella today. Stella's made by IC Systems, ISEE Systems. So today is part 1, basic equation. And you can find on Khan Academy the information about more details about this basic equation. It's basically a linear equation. Expand this text box down here so we can see everything I'm going to write. So the initial value, y of 0 equals y sub 0, where the 0 indicates the value of x in the basic equation. And the basic equation is y equals m times x plus b, where b is a constant. So the rate of change equals m. The constant is b, and that equals y sub 0. And that's when x is equal to 0, as we saw up above. All right, so we're going to have beginning values for m. We're going to start with 5, and b, we're going to start with 0. So this is the basic parameters for our equations. You can find this information on Khan Academy, as I said. But now we're going to build a model using a stock and flow modeling software called Stella. There are other versions. VenSim is another stock and flow modeling software. Also, Insight Maker is available. So now I use this text box here to write down what our assumptions are and what our basic purpose is here. Next, I'm going to click on the stock and drop that here, and I'm going to call that y. So this is the value that's going to accumulate, increase or decrease over time, depending on our equation. The second symbol here in the top left corner is the flow. So I click once on that, and I come over here, and this time I click and hold, and then slide this over until it connects with the stock, and then I let go. And then I type, this is the rate. The third symbol over here is called a converter. So I click once on that, and I come over here, and I click there, and I call that M. And the fourth symbol over here from the left, fourth symbol on the left, is the action connector. I click once on that little symbol, come over here, I click and hold, and I draw a connector until that rate ball there, that valve, is highlighted, and now we have a connector. So there's two kinds of arrows here. The rate is a flow either of physical material things or abstract things. The arrow here, this red arrow, that's a connector, action connector, passes information. It's not a physical flow, it's passing information. What is it passing? It's passing the value of m. And what is the value of m going to be? So we click once on that, or twice, and we get this information dialog box pop up, and right here in the middle for the equation m equals, and we're just going to put the number in 5. You could put a more complicated equation in here or have other variables, but we're just going to start simple here. All right, now we're going to click on the rate. Well, let's close this, get it out of the way, and click on the rate. Double click on that, we get this box back open. The rate we have is going to be the value m. So we come up here to the required inputs, click once on that, and m appears as the equation. So the rate equals the value m. We can click on this little arrow here, get that out of the way. Click here, double click on that. The value of y is going to be b. Well, in this case, we're just going to put in 0. b is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so now we have the data, we have the model, we have our assumptions. We just need to know what's going to happen over time. So there's a graph pad that's available here. We click once on that, and then we click once on the graph pad down here, and we can pin the graph down here, and then slide over. We can double click on anywhere on the pad, and we can see that we have the choices. We can graph the stock y, the rate, or m. Well, m is 5. The rate is also m. What we want to see is how does y change over time. So we're going to highlight y, then we're going to hit this double arrow so that that's the one that's selected. We're going to title this y, just to keep things simple, and then we're going to say OK. So we've got our graph in place. I'm just sliding over here. I've made this bigger so I've got it on the screen so you can read it. So now we just need to go up here to Run on the menu, and we're going to say, we're going to take the default specifications, and we're just going to say, well, first let's just go down and put the graph here in the middle of the page and see that. So here's where all the action is going to be. Then we can say Run. You can see that over time the graph is a straight line. Well, on my computer it looks a little bit wiggly, and that's because we took the default specs. So we could change those, and we'll figure out how to do that in another video. But basically you can see that the rate 5, for example, times 12, 5 times 12 is 60. And so that's the value you get for y. And you can take each one of these points here. 9 times 5 is 45. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 3 is 15. So you can see that this is a straight line. It's a linear progression. So that's the end of our basic equation, first model. You can download this model from the wiki space for Systems Academy. You can download the IC player from the iseesystems.com website. You can download their player for free, and after you download that software, you can download this model, and you can open it up in that player, and then you can change the values. You can do whatever you want. You can learn on your own. And that's the end of the part 1 basic equation.